So, sorry about that. I've been making this little box, and battery died, so that makes it difficult to broadcast. And so then I tried charging the battery and didn't want to charge, and so I think it was just overheated. So I got a couple of ice bricks from the freezer, sandwiched the camera phone in between the ice bricks, and it seemed to speed up charging quite a bit. But then when I tried to reconnect to the live stream, it wouldn't let me. So weird. So there's a new one here. So um, while you were gone, I continued sanding, and then glued that handle onto my lid. And now I'm going to cut the box apart right about there and see how it goes. In the meantime, let me reconnect over here as well, just in case there's anyone trying to engage in the chat, because I definitely like to hear what's going on. Hey, Shoot. And you thought I was done for the night, didn't you? So did I. But like, you know what? I'm going to keep working on this. So I might as well reconnect the live stream. So anyway, I think I'm ready to cut the lid off. So I've got this, cube, basically, not a cube, but a prism. So I'm just going to cut this guy open. All right, there we go. Vacuum and bandsaw. All right, and now that we've cut that guy open, we can remember that, hey, we left some tape in there. By we, I mean all of us together left the tape. It definitely wasn't just me alone. I tried to pull the tape back far enough that it wouldn't get glued into the top there. And okay, finally got a grip on that tape. I think there's still a little bit of tape in there that I didn't get out though. And a fair amount of tape that I haven't gotten out of here yet. All right, so I've got a couple little pieces in here that I still need to work on getting out. But I'm going to try to keep I'm going to try to keep the camera phone connected to the battery, or connected to the charger here, so it might be a little bit odd how I move you around. All right, so see, there's a little bit of tape in there. See if I can just grab some I want to say tweezers, but really I'm just looking for some long nose pliers. That seems like I can never find any long nose pliers. I know I've bought some a couple different times at least, but for some reason they're always gone. Right. Seem to work. I feel like there's still a little bit of blue residue in the edges there, and maybe that's just glue. Seems like a bit of blue in there. Just run the little chisel over things just a little bit. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to start digging into things here. So I think I'm going to grab a little thick type instrument instead. All right. Am I keeping the lid on? Good question. I'm going to add a little bit for a friction fit. So now that I've cut it apart, I've got a little bit of a lip right here. And so I'm going to use that lip. And that's part of why I'm kind of picking away the excess glue in the corners here. I'm going to put a little bit of the leftover material so that it sticks out a little bit from this lip. And then when you put the lid on the box, that little excess should hold it in, right? So if I have like little pieces like that actually fit in there, right? I just kind of have it kind of lined like that. Then when I fit it in like this, that should act as a bit of a friction fit there. Keep it from just kind of wandering around like that. Let's see. Do I do dovetails? I don't do handmade dovetails. I do have a router bit, a dovetail router bit that I use primarily for using micro jig type stuff. So I don't know if you noticed my table saw earlier. Let me keep connected to the power, but so I can demonstrate the stop block here. So the stop block on my crosscut sled right here, it uses a micro jig system. Which is a dovetail groove, or a dovetail whatever that fits in a dovetail groove. All right, and so then I can just take this guy, run him through, and then I can secure my stop block anywhere along this groove. So it's like having T-track, except I don't have to pay for T-track. I can put a dovetail groove anywhere I want with my router bit. So that's mostly what I do dovetail stuff for. The other project I can think of at the moment that utilized the dovetail. Yeah, I did use the router for this, but this was a project back at Easter time. I think I made this on Palm Sunday that morning because I was teaching in the 9 and 10-year-olds in Sunday school. And so I made a tomb, all right, so that Jesus could rise from the tomb, all right. And this was pretty fortuitous that on the stone, right, just happened to have kind of this little cross symbol naturally in there. And I made this little dovetail type key right there. It's not a very great one, but just right there in the front of the door. And then made a dovetail groove with the with the router bit. So then my stone can slide back and forth. All right. If I remove the stone entirely and kind of look inside, maybe you can see that there's a little bit of a bed on the side there. And then really it's quite a comfortable tomb. So, yeah, a restful 3 days anyway. So that's the other dovetail project I remember doing recently, somewhat recently anyway, back in, what was that, April or March? I think it was probably March when Palm Sunday was. So, knives. Don't really have much in the way of knives either. Got a little icon knife from Harbor Freight. Works pretty well. Need to clean it and sharpen it. Usually I just use this for breaking down boxes that go in our recycle bin. Then I've got just a little utility knife also from Harbor Freight. Right. And maybe I should use this to cut down boxes or break down boxes, but the icon is nicer for it. And then I also got this one from Harbor Freight. It's this might be I think this might also be a Gordon. So this is a Gordon. I think this might also be a Gordon, but this one was a lot less expensive than the icon. And I bought this one before I got this one. I didn't get this one until after I talked with my brother, who had already bought the icon, and I kind of played around with his a little bit, and I realized, oh wow, that's much nicer knife. So the next time this guy was on special, I picked up a copy for me. So that's pretty much it for my knife collection. Sorry to disappoint that I'm not stealing too many knives around here. Steve, thanks for being here, man. Oil rig platform 136, Gulf of America. You're drilling. Wish you were home enjoying woodworking. Yeah. Oil rig, man. That's hardcore. Let's see, Ranjit Singh, hello. Thanks for joining us. And let's see, I don't know what that name is, but thanks for being here. What's Harbor Freight? Harbor Freight is it's just a tool store that's I think they're probably just here in the United States. They basically specialize in discount tools. So for example, these guys, these were each less than $10. Probably closer to the $2 or $3 range. This one was probably closer to 7 or 8, maybe 5 or 6. I don't remember for sure. Whereas this guy was probably closer to 25 or 30. On special, it was probably closer to 20 or 30, 20 or 25. But and they have all sorts of coupons, so I pretty much never buy anything there except some sort of coupon. Shoot, you got a Gerber pocket knife? Yeah, those are nice. Spyderco, those are nice too. Yeah, I don't have anything like that. I've just got the cheap stuff. I wanted to get a oh geez, why can't I think of the name of it? Lightweight, has the Axis lock system. Why can't I think of the name of the company? I think they're based in Oregon. Wow. Yeah, it's just completely blanking on it right now. But I wanted to get one of those, but I just couldn't justify the price. It was like 200 something for the knife, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use it enough to make it that worth it. So I'm just tend to be kind of cheap. So had a real tough time justifying a knife for 200 plus bucks that I might just be using to break down boxes here. So anyway, all right. So let's move on to our next step here, which would be adding a little bit of lip to the edge of this. So gonna eyeball that measurement and then mark it. Okay. All right. So this length might be just about right for getting one that way and one that way. But I just want a very thin layer. So I'm going to make a couple of those. And Shoop, I'm going to take your advice from earlier. I think it was on the previous live stream before my battery cut out. And I'm going to do that on a bandsaw instead of trying to mess with the table saw. So clear off this tape. Clean off the sawdust from the previous cuts. Try to blow off the camera of the phone. And don't need this to be very wide. I just need it to be wide enough to, just a little bit wider than this lip here. So I think I'm going to cut it from this side. I need to adjust my fence a little bit. Let's see if that's enough. I think that probably is enough. So I'm going to start with 2 strips of this. I'll have to adjust the fence after this first cut. I don't want to use such a narrow cut. Having the fence right up against the blade. In fact, I'm going to bring my guide down here so that it's a little bit more secure. There we go. All right. Get my eye protection, my ear protection. Lincoln's here from Tennessee. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Shoop says to smash the like button. I appreciate that. Everyone can like the video, subscribe if you like the content here and want to come back someday. And yeah, your daily carry. Yeah. Benchmark. That's the benchmark is the one I'm thinking of. It was the lightweight. It's also considered kind of an everyday carry, but why can't I think of the model name now? Companion? Is that what it was called? Benchmark Companion? I don't remember, but I was coveting that for a while, but I haven't worried about it for quite some time now. All right, vacuum on, bandsaw on. let me see if my estimation was correct. And I was thinking that would be a little bit more, but that's all I need, really. I mean, it looks like a lot more up over on this side because of, you know, not being able to fit inside there, but you can kind of see it just has a little bit of a lip there. And that's pretty much all I need. So let's see if I can cut another one that is very similar to that. I'll just try to use this as a guide here. That looks to be about the same. So I will lock that into position. And do the same over here. And right. Those look to be just about as close as I can get them. You kind of in that corner, will just be a tiny little lip. So now need to cut these guys in such a way we just marked those. So I'm just going to cut them here on the bandsaw. Not even going to worry about the dust collection. I'm going to take off the fence because I don't want anything pinching. All right. Pretty nice tight fit. All right. All right, this guy. And just need a little bit more off of that guy. And that guy. So I'm just going to take off a wee bit. And let's see if that was enough of a wee bit. Looks like it. Now, these don't look as nice as what I was hoping, but should work. Then I just need to glue these guys down. And remove my iron ear protection. It doesn't bother me. Unplug the bandsaw. Move it out of the way. Thanks. Thanks, Jupe. Not as great as I was hoping, but you know, it'll work. So I'll just get these guys glued in there. Won't take much glue. And then with as tight as they fit in there together. Shouldn't really need much clamping or anything. Actually, more glue than what I was anticipating. All right. Now that I brushed way too far out on that glue. Good thing it's mostly the underside of the lid, so hopefully it's the part that's least noticed. Many may have noticed, but I'm taking the smoother side and putting it up, and the rougher side putting down. I'm not really that worried about getting adherence. I think there'll be enough glue on the side and on the bottom to get these guys to stay in there pretty well. Yeah, see how the glue is coming all the way out here? I wanted to localize it more in the corners and edges there, but whatever. All right. There's more of a gap here than I would like. And because of the grain pattern, and maybe because of how I cut it, it doesn't look entirely straight. And like right here, there's a little bit of a chip on the edge there. But you know what? It'll be all right. All right, so let me put the clamps away up here on the French cleat holder. And put the little angled pick away on the magnetic strips, and with the pliers. Put the pencil in the pencil holder, also on the French cleat holder deal. And oh, hey, look, we got Dad's workshop in here. Sweet. Good to see you, Calvin. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. So we've got a little cedar box we made. And in the process, we worked with the bandsaw and the table saw, the sander. I even did a little bit of hand sanding, believe it or not, with this guy. So you would be so proud of me. Let's see what other. Yeah, and then we used other little hand tools like the pliers and the pick and whatever. So let's see here. Middle of the night, yep. Rolled over to check your phone. Always on late, yep. Numbers are really good. All carved out. His time slot, yeah. Kind of. To a degree, sort of. In the past, I didn't really notice anyone on earlier tonight, but or not very many people anyway, when I was looking at going live. But in previous days, nights, weekends, whatever, I've looked at the the live streaming, and there's like 4 or 5 or 6 other woodworking themed live streams going on, and I'm like, you know what? I probably don't need to go live right now. I think no need to try and carve up the audience any more than it already is, and maybe most of the people that were on their own lives would be the people who are most likely to watch mine. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go a little bit later. And so yeah, going a little bit later tends to do a little bit better for me than trying to compete against everybody else that's also going live. So box is nice. Yeah, it's not too terrible. Let's see. I work the next 3 nights, so staple night. You can sleep in the morning. Yeah. Oscar Barbero or Barbero Aceituno. Good to see you. Use oak? No, actually. I've got a bunch of oak over here, which is the oak hardwood floorboards that I've salvaged and pulled out the nails and planed and jointed and ripped. But I did make something with those. It's over here. I showed everybody earlier tonight. Do you want to see it too, Calvin? So it's basically a little serving tray in the shape of a heart. So glued up the some boards into a panel, cut it out on the bandsaw, routed the edges with a decorative bit, sanded a lot, and then just used a wax and mineral oil combo for finishing it. So let's see, cedar. Yep. Yeah, so the box is actually made out of cedar. So this is a bunch of cedar that that it was when we moved into this house, it was in the firewood pile, and not this. It was just a chunk of firewood, and I decided to try milling it up, and so I did, and I've made a bunch of other stuff with it too, yeah. So it's just a bunch of cedar that was going to get burned. So I'm like, why not make something out of it instead of just burning it? So let's see. Giancarlo Latanzi. Guessing that's Italian. I don't speak Italian, but I can fake it. As soon as I said, I don't speak Italian, Giancarlo was like, yeah, no kidding. You can tell. And let's see, Dad's workshop. Happy to be here. Glad I woke up to work. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for joining us, man. Try to get a time slot. Looks great. The Dawn Challenge. Yeah. The heart-shaped serving tray is for the challenge. For those of you who are unaware, Dylan's handmade woodworks or woodworking. I can remember the name exactly, but DELAN, handmade woodwork something. You can check out his channel. He's got a challenge going for all of us woodworking types to incorporate a heart shape in something that we build between now and I think September 20th, or actually between a while ago and September 20th. I was just barely getting around to it the other day. So, love cedar. I got Western red cedar. Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. And Shoop's fixing to play some PS4 after this. We have Eastern red cedar. They look different. Okay. Buenos dias, a blanco. Thanks for joining us, man. All right. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining Pelado Creations today. Appreciate it. And then I'm going to just kind of vacuum this out, and then I'm just going to finish it with some spray shellac and call it good. So let me vacuum up my work area here and get it a little bit cleaner. I'll throw on some ear protection because the shop vac is not quiet. Disconnect it from the dust port of the bandsaw. Think that now I'm ready for the finish. Yeah, bienvenidos, Blanco. Practicando el español. All right. Shellac. All right. I guess I can take off the ear protection now. So one downside on this, one imperfection, is that I did apply way too much glue and spread it out a little, way wide from the little lip here that I wanted to create. But it'll be okay. Probably the least likely to be viewed of anything on the work. So shellac round 1. All right, that's really bringing out scratches. Maybe I needed to sand a little bit deeper on this guy. All right, and I'm gonna try propping these guys up a little bit. And see if I can find one other piece to prop this guy up on, because there we go. All right. Just gonna let those dry for a few minutes before we hit them with another coat. Hey, Dad's Workshop. Thanks so much for the super chat, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Working late tonight again, says Kevin. I suppose. And hey, Blanco says, no entiendo inglés, pero me gusta lo que haces. Gracias a Blanco. Gracias por compartir este tiempo con nosotros. Which, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, Al Blanco said he doesn't understand English, but he likes what I'm doing. And so I just told him thanks for sharing this time with us. And thank you for everyone else. Thanks for joining us and sharing this time. Appreciate it. And thanks to Dad's Workshop for the super chat. That's awesome, dude. Let's see. Just while I'm waiting for that to dry. Here, let's see if I can. You guys are forced to see me more. Burning the midnight oil. Shoop, Kevin, Calvin, Lugosi Sandor. Thanks for joining us, man. Kevin, you got my number 1. Let's see. Everyone hit the like button. Yeah, like button. Subscribe if you like what you see. If you want to come back and see more stuff like this, or maybe a little bit different from this. It's not all exactly like this, but I tend to like to use the the power tools in making woodworking stuff. So I've got the bandsaw, the miter saw, the router table, the table saw, the lathe. I haven't started using yet. I still need to switch out the cord because this thing is super old. So let me just give you guys a brief tour while we're black to dry. So the bandsaw you guys have already seen. It's a Craftsman from 1978. The lathe is a Sears Roebuck and Company lathe, and you can see the pile of willow slabs that I've got over there ready to make. Plan to make like some charcuterie boards or cutting boards, or maybe both. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this lathe has about a 3-foot capacity, so 3 feet long, and about I think it's a 9-inch diameter, and got that for super cheap because that's how I roll. The bandsaw, miter saw. I actually bought that new at the Home Depot, but I got it on a deal at on sale, and I had to convince the manager to actually let me have the sale price. That was fun. This is one of my router tables with one of the routers in it. This is the bit that I used for that heart-shaped serving tray. Then this router table I just made out of an old kitchen cabinet that I got from my brother-in-law, and then some MDF. And then here's kind of proud of the vacuum dust collection attachment there, so I can stick my vacuum hose right in there and then lock it down and and then collect the dust. So router table, table saw. This is an old DeWalt 7491. So this table saw is actually still in production from DeWalt. This one's pretty old and beat up. So I got it used from an old cabinet shop that was upgrading to some SawStop table saws. And so I got a deal on this one. I had to do a lot to fix it up, and you can tell it's not entirely renovated, but it's working pretty well. Down at the bottom there, I've got another router table. That one's the Porter cable table with another router in it. Got a little scroll saw down there that's covered in dust because this is a bit of a workshop, but also because it doesn't really get a lot of use. Ever since I got the bandsaw, like, do I really want the scroll saw? There's not a lot that the scroll saw can do that the bandsaw can't. There are a few situations, but I tend to find different solutions for things. And I've got the planer down there that I got at a super good deal, along with the jointer that's kind of underneath that grocery bag. And then along with those, I also got the dust collector over here. Well, 3 of those, along with some other stuff, got all together. Got a track saw in that case that I got from my brother-in-law for a decent deal, along with the track to go with it. And then this is I've got a problem. The first part is just admitting. So this is some of my other routers. So I showed you the 2 router tables. Then I've got the Porter cable router with the fixed base. Then it also has a plunge base. And I've got another Bosch fixed base. And I've got a bigger Bosch plunge base. And then up here, I've got the Makita compact router. So I think that's all of my routers for now. But, guys got to have some routers, right? Right? So let's see how dry this guy is. It needs a little bit more time, I think. So bandsaw looks straight out of a Sears catalog. Yeah, I think it pretty much did come out of the Sears catalog. So understandable why it would look that way. Antonio Lopez, hello. Thanks for joining us, man. Gollum Matthew, hello. Andrew Vandersee, hello. And Shoop, you got 6 routers. So let's see, I've got, see if I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess I've got 6 too. 6 also. Yeah, 1, 2, the rigid, the Bosch 1617 EVS, the Bosch 1615 EVS, the Porter cable, the Bosch 1604, the Makita compact router. So I think that's all of them. Is it the 1615? Now I have to be doubting myself. Is that actually the, yeah, 1615 EVS. So that's that big Bosch plunge router over there. It's old. It's at least because I think the current generation is the 1619 EVS. So it's kind of their supersized router. 3 1/4 or 3.5 horsepower version. So this is at least one generation before that. And the 1617 EVS that I have in that router table, they're actually still selling that one. It's still in production. but it's been in production for a long time. This one could be, and probably is quite old, right? It's probably at least a decade old, probably more. But like I said, that's still in production, I believe. Let's see. And okay, so still got a little bit of wetness there, but it'll be fine. We'll get it with another. Hit me with your next shot of shellac. And the sign over there is not a router, but my wife made it for me, sort of. She modified it from a Hobby Lobby or wherever she found it. All right, that might be. I might only do 2 coats on that one. Usually I'll do 3, but maybe not today. Let's see. I'm gonna go wash my hands and then come check out the chat. If you guys have any questions, concerns, jokes, ideas, go ahead and throw them in the chat while I'm washing my hands. Anything you want me to address before we sign off for the night? The drain on this sink sure is loud. I don't know how well you guys can hear it. Certainly seems loud to me as I'm washing my hands at this basin in the laundry room, mud room, whatever you want to call it. All right, so I'm excited to get back to the chat and see what questions and jokes you guys have come up with. See what's on your minds. All right, now you have to see me again. All right. Let's see here. Crafty of her. Yep. Sabang Nayat. Welcome, Sabang. Work helps. Wife's channel. Yeah, I think Calvin already subscribed to her channel. Yeah, so she decided. I think she bought the letters from like Hobby Lobby, and then maybe the board as well. I don't remember if she attached the letters to the board, but the letters, I guess, were all white, and she thought that didn't look that the greatest, and so she wanted to have a little bit different look, and so so she got a little black paint of some kind, and decided to go to town and make her artistry known. And then the other sign here, my wife also made. So I did a live a while back, and I had made a bunch of names on similar boards for kids in our Sunday school class. And, they're like 9 and 10 years old. And I was just doing it freehand on the router on the, I think I was using, I was using the Bosch 1604 over here. And, it was imperfect. But I was using a V bit, and really, like, once you do one pass, if you don't get it, going back over it isn't really going to help. It's just probably going to make it worse. So, so I did my best on, a batch of names for these Sunday school kids. And when I was done, I took them upstairs to the bedroom and was showing her my handiwork. And she was like, "Can you redo this? Or, can you, fix this part?" I'm like, "Nope, it's done. It's it is what it is." And so then she watched a little bit of one of my videos and saw how I was, doing the freehanding on the router, and she believed that she could do better. And so we had a competition to see who could make the better sign. The suggestions that we got from the people in the chat, they said we should both make the same sign, and the sign should say Smith. And they chose Smith because they're like, "Look, there's so many Smiths out there, you'd have no trouble selling the sign after you make them." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So we're both making Smith, right? Except I made Smith and she made Sucker. And then everyone voted to see who won the competition. And she cheated, but I still edged her out barely. So thankfully. So, but yeah, going back to your question, Calvin, on she is doing pretty well. She's out of the hospital. She's recovering well. She's been cooking and cleaning and doing well. Anyone who's unaware, my wife recently had a kidney transplant. So she's in Indiana, recovering from that. And so she's doing well. And she has to have caregivers with her. I'm here with our daughters. And we've had a series of sisters, and her sisters. Got my sister who's going to be there in a few weeks. I'm going to go back and be with her for another week or so, in a week or so, well, less than a week actually. And so it's been fun trying to coordinate all of the people, because maybe a person can be there with her for about a week, but then they need to get back to wherever they're from. So we've been trying to coordinate all of that and make sure that she's got a caregiver with her, because that's a requirement of the transplant, is having a caregiver with her 24/7 post-transplant, at least for a period of time. And then eventually she'll be able to come back home here to Idaho. And we're hoping within the next few weeks, but it could be another month and a half, or longer, depending on if there are any complications. So far, no complications. She's doing well. The kidney's doing great. So we're really happy about her progress so far. So let's see. And Christy, thanks for joining us. And all right. You guys have any other questions, concerns, jokes? Feel free to jump in there. So I think I'm going to just let these be and not not do any more coats. Just let it be at the second coat. So I'm going to let these dry. Right now, it's to the feel, it's a little bit gritty. Right now it's still a little bit wet, but in the dry parts, it'll be a little bit gritty because of the spray. It doesn't go on really smooth. However, I can just use a little bit of steel wool after it's completely dry, and that'll smooth it out, and it'll feel really nice. So that's the step that I'm not going to be able to get to tonight until after those are until the shellac is dried and kind of cured. I don't want to be messing with it until then. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. Gracias por estar con nosotros. This is Pelado Creations. Feel free to like, subscribe, all the stuff, and appreciate everyone being here and your participation and your likes and subscribes and just watching. And so we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.